Mr. Speaker, I rise today to ask my colleagues to support an important resolution concerning law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. Before I do that, I first would like to recognize some members of the Pennsylvania State Troopers Association and the Pennsylvania State Lodge Fraternal Order of Police who are here with us today. From the State Troopers Association is President David Kennedy, to the left over here. And with him is Legislative Liaison Officer Harry Danahauer, who's a retired state trooper. From the Pennsylvania State Lodge Fraternal Order of Police, Secretary Mr. Joseph Regan. And Trustee Mr. Vince DeCenzo. Thanks for being with us today. In the United States last year, 144 law enforcement officers were killed in the line of duty. Unfortunately, 4 were from Pennsylvania. This resolution honors 3 police officers and 1 deputy United States Marshal who served in Pennsylvania and lost their lives in the line of duty. The 4 men I'd like to recognize are the following. Philadelphia police officer Raymond Diaz, Jr., who served in the 24th District, who was a 20-year veteran. While responding to a burglary, Officer Diaz's vehicle was struck by another vehicle, resulting in numerous injuries from the accident. While recovering, Officer Diaz fell, requiring additional surgeries and prescription medications. Officer Diaz died as a result of an accidental overdose. He is survived by his wife of 20 years, Megan, daughters Marissa and Alexandria, and son Raymond. He was 47 years old. Deputy U.S. Marshal Christopher David Hill served in Pennsylvania in the Middle District. He was a veteran of the United States Army for 3 years as a Ranger and Deputy U.S. Marshal for 11 years. While attempting to serve an arrest warrant with a United States Marshal task force on a woman who was making terroristic threats, a man from inside the home opened fire on the task force. Upon officers returning fire, one of the rounds pierced the wall and struck Deputy Marshal Hill. Deputy Hill was taken to the hospital, where he succumbed from his wounds. He was 46 years old. He is survived by his wife of 16 years, Sylvia, his son Travis, and his daughter Ashley Lynn. Detective Sergeant Brian Scott Cusiano was a member of the Newcastle Police Department for 16 years. He was a detective, a firearms instructor, a CERT team member, a sniper team leader, a cell phone forensics analyst, and a homicide investigator. While participating in a required physical training exercise for the Special Response Team, Officer Cusiano suffered a heart attack and died. He was 44 years old. He is survived by his wife of 23 years, Heather, and his sons Brandon and Dustin. Police Officer Alex Sable, who was a member of the York City Police Department for 4 years. Officer Sable graduated from the York Technology Institute with a degree in computer systems. He was a veteran of the United States Marines, serving for 7 years. While participating in a SWAT training exercise for water rescue, Officer Sable suffered a cardiac arrest and passed away. He was 38 years old. He is survived by his wife of 12 years, Rebecca, his son Ethan, and his daughters Annabelle and Eliana. Colleagues, I encourage you to read the resolution to learn how these men lived and how they lost their lives. As a former law enforcement officer, I would like all of us to remember these men, not because how they died, but because how they lived. They served their communities. They protected their communities. They sacrificed for the people in their communities. Mr. Speaker, I offer this resolution as a way for us, on behalf of each and every Pennsylvanian, to show gratitude for the sacrifice of these 4 law enforcement officers. I offer my heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of these 4 brave men. I ask my colleagues to support House Resolution 217. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, we passed this resolution unanimously, and I'd ask everybody to please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you, members. And to Dave, Harry, Vince, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today. We are so honored that you would be a part of this memorial with us and to grace us with your presence on the House floor.